What's going on, guys? Welcome to Reporting from the Kingdom, your number one source for all Chiefs and phone news. I'm your host, Bob, joined by my friend Charles. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You had an exciting week with the draft, and I cannot wait to get into it with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be able to sit down, talk some football, have some fun. Okay, there was a lot of great stuff going on this week. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, first off, we've got some pretty fun news in my book. The Chiefs have not extended, but I guess you could call it a re-sign. Really, if you want to break it down, it's a pay raise with Travis Kelce to make him the highest paid tight end in the NFL, and I'm pretty sure the highest paid tight end in NFL history. It tacks on some money, and I'm pretty sure it ends up looking like a $34 million deal, something that is much deserved for a game breaking tight end and someone who still, at his old age, is one of the best in the game. I mean, Kelsey's just a straight baller. He just does everything right. Great guy on and off the field. Obviously incredible playing on the field. We wouldn't have near the same success if it weren't for what Kelsey's been able to help us do. So that's always good. And then unsurprising news. Anything you have to say on Travis Kelsey's extension?
It's always good to keep Kelsey in Kansas City. It's only a 2-year contract, but we'll see how long Kelsey ends up playing for. He is aging, so
Yeah, there is a part of me that thinks
it's
I do kind of
you can
think
go.
that this pay raise might be the last 2 years of his career because I think he'll be like 36 by the end of it or something, and that's really old for a tight end. I think he's someone who's going to want to go and enjoy his life. So that's going to
Yeah,
be really sad to see him go. One of if not one of the best players in Chiefs history, potentially the greatest tight end of all time, up there with Tony G and Gronk. So he's very much deserved raise. I mean, he's been dominant for us. So I'm just glad to make sure he stays around and stays happy. Then we've got
yeah,
Kadarius Toney in a unsurprising move. The Chiefs declined to pick up his fifth-year option. I know, shocking. Everyone's favorite wide receiver. But something I do want to say about Kadarius Toney real quickly is, do I think he'll be good? No. Do I think he has much of a shot of being good? No. Do I think there's a chance he could be good? Yes. Which is kind of a hot take because I know everyone thinks he's, the worst person on the planet, which I don't exactly disagree. But damn, has that dude got some potential. Damn, is he good at
yeah,
making people miss. It was so exciting in that first year when he got traded because he showed a ton of potential. And I'm not saying the Chiefs should rely on him. I'm not even saying he should make the team. I think if he doesn't have a good camp, he should be gone. But there's a part of me in the back of my brain that's going, what if? I mean, what if this guy figures it out? Then you've got one of the fastest guys in the league at receiver with Hollywood Brown. You've got Xavier Worthy, who we're going to talk a ton about later on in this episode, and potentially Rashee Rice, depending on what happens with that situation. Damn, I mean, I think Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, I don't think they will figure it out, but I do think there's a chance that they could figure it out. And man, that would be special if they could. But once again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying I think it even remotely has a chance of happening. But I love exploring what if scenarios, so that's one I wanted to just kind of quickly divulge into real quick.
yeah.
Yeah, and then getting into the fun part of this, we had the draft, and it was such a good draft. I loved watching this draft this year. It was so much fun. I mean, how did you feel watching it? Just all the rounds and everything.
Oh, I loved the draft. It's always fun time of the year and one of the might be the best NFL event besides the Super Bowl. One of my favorites to watch.
Yeah.
Um, the
Yep.
Chiefs picked up really good. In my opinion, we had a pretty good draft, and the draft was altogether pretty predictable, except for interesting Falcons pick.
Yeah, the first
Altogether, though, it was a pretty good pick.
yeah, the first round had some really strange had I mean not really strange, but it started off pretty predictable and it continued decently predictable for like most of the first round, except for the Falcons at pick 8. I'm going to admit for a second I died when that pick happened. There were two picks I died of laughter when they happened. That pick and Bo Nix to the Broncos. I mean, Bo Nix might make me eat my words. They both might make me eat my words for all I know. But all I'm saying, and I'm gonna, say this so it's out there in the universe now for everyone to hear. I laughed at those two picks, and I'm not gonna say I'm some incredible GM. I'm not some incredible scout. I, listen to what people say if I, agree with them. I have some people I like to listen to, and I do formulate my own opinions based off that, but I'm not some, great scout. I'm not Brett Veach or Howie Roseman or whatever. But, I still think I've, know my stuff well enough to be able to talk about it. Not saying those two will make me my words, especially with how hard of a position it is for quarterback. How hard it is to get that right. But man, Penix at 8 was funny. But I was actually watching the NFL Network version. And like right before they announced the pick, Ian Rappaport, I'm pretty sure it was him, he said, now this might shock some people, but there is a chance that the Falcons could take a quarterback like Michael Penix. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's no way. Surely he's just saying that because he got a source saying that. And he's like, I mean, hey, it could happen, so I'll throw it out there in the world. Just like I'm saying with those two picks, how I laughed at them throwing that out in the world. But man, he hit it right on the board. Hit the bullseye with that one because there we go, Michael Penix Jr., which is such a puzzling pick. I mean, it's so puzzling.
It is. I've been listening to a lot of people talk about that, and I think that it's risky. It's risky for the Falcons. There's a lot of stuff that could go right, and there is a lot of stuff that could go wrong. Mainly, you could have, say, Kirk Cousins goes great and he is amazing with the Falcons for the next 4 years, and then he retires and Penix comes in and is amazing with the Falcons for the next 8 years. That is one thing that could happen, and then that would basically set the Falcons up for the next 15 years. Do I think that is going to happen? Absolutely not. I think that there is a very low chance that both of these quarterbacks end up working out. I think that Kirk Cousins is a good fit, and I think that Penix is also a good fit. But do I think the odds that both of them are both going to work out? No, especially in 4 years when Penix is. How old is he right now? 26?
I think he's like 20. I don't think he's 26, but I think he's like 24.
I think he's 26.
Let me check real quick. Let me check how old he is. But I think he's 24.
Oh, he's 23. I'm stupid.
23. Yeah.
He'll be 24 this season, so he'll be 28 when Kirk Cousins most likely retires after his 4th season with the Falcons, maybe sooner.
Yeah, and that's also.
Like, he's still going to be 28. He's not going to be a young quarterback.
Yeah, and
if they've spent the last 4 years training him and he isn't good, that's going to be pretty annoying for the Falcons.
Yeah, and then, I mean, by then his rookie contract's already up. So you have to pay him money, and...
Yeah.
Let's say Cousins gets hurt in the last year of his deal, week 8, and Penix plays, Daniel Jones level the year he got his contract. You're looking 3 years down the line, you could be looking at $50 million for Penix. For someone who you might have seen play 8 games. I mean, people have compared it to the Jordan Love situation, and I really just cannot agree in the slightest. Because Love was he was at 26, not in the top 10. That's another thing that makes this so bizarre, is one, Penix wasn't highly considered a top 10 prospect by any means by most people I've seen. I mean, I guess I did hear that there were some teams that tried to trade up for him, so better than we thought, I guess. People liked him more than we thought, apparently. But man, I mean, you spent a top 10 pick on a guy who's probably not going to play for 4 years. Or if he does play, it'll be very, very limited. And a guy who, might not even be good. A guy who's had injuries. A guy who's already older. A guy who had a stacked receiving core. I mean, 3 receivers in like the first 3 or 4 rounds of the draft. That was a stacked Washington team. I think both the linemen got drafted, both the tackles. That was a stacked offense. I'm not saying Penix can't be good. He certainly can be, but I just don't know if the move will work out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then we had actually 2 bits of funny Broncos news in my opinion. We had first off the uniforms, which are just, those are so bad. I'm sorry. They look like UFL uniforms. They don't look good.
For which team?
The Broncos' new uniforms. Those things are just not good.
I don't know if I've seen them.
Here, look them up real quick because they're just,
Yeah, I'm looking them up.
they're
I'm gonna
rough.
see this.
I mean, they're not like the end of the world, but I just don't think they look very good. I just really don't think they look
I'm
good.
trying to see which ones specifically.
There's like one combination
Because honestly,
I think looks good.
all the Broncos jerseys look a bit goofy in my opinion.
Yeah.
Are you talking about this light blue one?
No, they completely made all their jerseys new. They made all new jerseys.
Yeah, I will say I like the football. I kind of I kind of like the logo on the helmet.
Is it the one with the like horse? I can't remember what their logo was.
It was just a Bronco head. Now it's a full Bronco.
Oh
But
yeah.
I will say it does look a bit goofy. It's got the weird stripes on the sleeves, which does not look right. And then both of the blues look a bit rough. Like the really light blue jersey, you're right, does look like a UFL jersey.
I know. There's like one combination I kind of liked, but they just don't look good at all. I'm sorry, I just really don't like those uniforms. And then they paired up. Actually, they had 3 funny decisions recently. I forgot about the other one. They traded for Zach Wilson. And I mean, they didn't.
Oh, yeah, they did do that.
That's not like the worst move ever. Because they like traded down in the 7th or something. So it's not just the worst move ever. But I'm sorry. That's still just so funny. They traded for...
We're kind of just like we're a Broncos hating podcast now.
Yeah, this is actually reporting from the Broncos haters, your number one source for all Broncos hate. We expect expect daily 10-hour-long videos about every bad thing the Broncos have done. We plan on starting from when they founded as a team all the way up to present day. So, that new podcast, that's actually a great idea because that thing could last a while. There is a lot of stuff we could use to talk about what the Broncos have done wrong. Ton of content there. That's a great idea. But moving on with their great draft pick of Bo Nix, which he could work out. I'm not saying he can't work out. I'm just going to put that out there. But do I think he'll work out? No. Do I like the pick? No. I don't think he's that good of a player. He's another really old guy. He's another older quarterback. And I get it. The Broncos needed a starter. I get it. They didn't want to play whoever they had. Some guy who I'm pretty sure was a backup the year before. Was it the Raiders' backup quarterback? I can't quite remember. I think I'm going to go the guy who's the Raiders' backup. Jarrett Stidham, I think, might have been their guy in place to be the starter for the Broncos. So I get why they wanted to draft a quarterback. Maybe they wanted Pet. No, actually, I heard Bo Nix was their 3rd quarterback. He was their 3rd best quarterback on the board. So, I mean, I guess if you're looking at it from the Broncos' point of view, you get the 3rd best quarterback at number 12, then, hey, that's great. But...
yeah, but I don't think that's true.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's the 3rd best quarterback. But, maybe he'll make me eat my words. But I just don't think it was a good pick. I think that's a team that needs... and that's a team that's not a quarterback away. If you look at how the Chiefs built their roster, the Chiefs were a solid roster. They had some good players, and then they went out and got their quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to act like the Chiefs were great before we got Mahomes, but we were solid in every year that Reed arrived. We had made the playoffs. We had won the division a couple times.
We were competing with the Patriots a few years.
Yeah, we never really did anything in the playoffs. We always, choked there. Good old Colts game, good old Titans game in Mahomes' first year. But we were a good team, and they built the team. They got everything they needed, and then they got their quarterback, and look where it's taken us. That's really, I think, a great recipe to build success in the NFL. Is obviously if there's a generational quarterback, don't pass it up. But, building a team is just that's what allowed Mahomes. I mean, obviously, Mahomes is what allowed Mahomes to be so good. But having that great team helped, I'm sure. So I really think building a roster around your quarterback and not having to throw him in the fire is a great strategy, which is, in a way, what we're seeing the Bears do with Caleb Williams. I mean, look at that receiving core. They've got DJ Moore, receiver 1, Keenan Allen, receiver 2, and then at pick 9, Roman Dunze, one of my favorite players in the class, to be their receiver 3 this year. Probably takes over as 2 next year, Keenan Allen. I bet he leaves. But man, that's a talented receiving core. They've got a solid O-line. Drafted a really experienced punter out of Iowa. He's done it a lot. So hey. So I think the what am I talking about? The Bears. And I mean, Poles was a Chiefs guy. He's a guy who worked with the Chiefs. He was like an assistant. Then he came over. So obviously I feel like he's probably learned a little bit from seeing how this has been done from such a successful franchise. Which is, always helps to see the best franchise in the league at that current moment, see how they operate things. See how they operate getting the greatest quarterback in all of the world. And then, also, by the way, sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. He's just meowing, and I can't get up to make him stop. So, I'm hoping he'll stop soon enough. He's kind of just meowing a lot. Actually, I might have to get him in a second, see what he's doing, but just apologize. I just apologize if you're hearing him in the background. I can't stop him. Kitty! It's okay. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. But we've talked about enough random crap now. I think it's time we can get into the good stuff. Stuff I've been waiting to talk about. I've been dying to talk about this stuff. And as I previously said, that's enough rambling. As I said, how long ago? 10 minutes? I don't know. But that's enough rambling. So let's actually get on talking about the Chiefs picks now. First round, Chiefs. The board, I think, is going solid. Maybe a couple more tackles have gone than they would have liked. But the board's fallen decently, I'd say. There's multiple guys I really like still available, especially at receiver. And here we are. It's around pick like 26. I'm thinking, man, if the Chiefs want to trade up to get someone, they better do it now. They better trade up now because when it gets to the Bills sure as hell aren't trading up with them. And lo and behold, I'm looking at the TV. I see they have little screens in the background that they act the actual live performance. And I see the Chiefs are on the clock, and I'm like, what? Did we trade at first I thought just they were so behind that every team in the first round had made their pick and they were on to us now. Because I thought there's no way that the Bills would trade with us. I thought there was absolutely zero way that would happen. And there we go. We traded up to 28 and took, technically, by technical standards, the fastest player in NFL history. Whether he plays that fast, that's to be seen. But in terms of 40 times, he is the fastest player ever. Which I'm sure, as some of his tweets as he ran the combine, or from when he ran his impressive performance, I'm sure Patrick Mahomes is incredibly happy about.
Yeah. It's a good pick in my opinion. I think that he's the Tyreek Hill replacement, although we've been without him for a year and we've shown we don't necessarily need him. It's still nice to have a guy like Tyreek Hill or Xavier Worthy, someone that is insanely fast and is still a good player and can catch and he can make big plays on the field when they're needed, and hopefully he's not dropping passes like the Chiefs receivers were last year.
Yeah.
But as long as he's catching more than we were last year, I think that he's still a big improvement on this team.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that, for one, is going to be able to do a ton when stretching the field. He's going to be able to really stretch the defenses out when you put him and then another super fast guy, I think like 4.28, 4.27, speed Hollywood Brown on the other side. That is a ton of speed. I'm not sure if Hollywood will stay after this year because he's only got a 1 year deal. But if he does, then we could have a little Legion of Zoom on our hands. Or even just for this year, we could have a little Legion of Zoom action. That's a lot of fast dudes. We got him, Worthy, and Pacheco, who are all pretty fast. And I think that really helps open up things for Pacheco and Kelsey, Worthy and Hollywood. Because, man, they have to respect that speed. That was the issue with MVS. He was fast, but no one was really that scared of him. I mean, what's he going to do? Get wide open and drop the ball? We saw that happen plenty. The Eagles, all those games where he dropped the ball. So fun. You're watching the game, you're thinking, oh, let's go. We're about to win this. Let's go. The big play here. What are you doing, MVS? It got to be a little bit annoying at times. I mean, to be fair, you can insert just about any name for MVS. You can insert Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. But, we could have people that can catch the ball and it'd be an improvement over what we had last year. But Worthy, I think, is a really good pick. I'm going to be perfectly honest for a second. He wasn't my first guy. My top guy that I really loved, that I think that was available there, was A.D. Mitchell. I absolutely loved A.D. Mitchell. I kind of adored him as a player and a prospect. But obviously, whether it was character, health issues, or whatever it was, that's what I've heard is it was more character and health. The league did not view him quite as high. Which, by the way, I think the Colts got an absolute steal at 50, getting him at 52. I'm pretty sure that's where they got him. I think that's an absolute steal, getting a guy who I think could be one of the best receivers in the class at 52. That's just crazy in my opinion. That's just damn. I wanted A.D. Mitchell, but obviously there were issues, or else he wouldn't have fallen to 52. So I'm certainly still very happy with Worthy. Don't get me wrong. I'm so happy we got Xavier Worthy. But I did like AD, and I did like Ladd McConkey, who went to the Chargers. I think it's a good pick for them. That's going to help out Herbert. But I'm still so happy we got Worthy. He is blazing fast. And a lot of people have said he has a drop issue. He can't catch the ball well. He doesn't have a drop issue. I saw he had actually one of the lowest drop rates from anyone in this draft class at receiver. Maybe not one of the lowest, but pretty low. It was like 5.7 or something, which if I remember, was low compared to guys like Keon Coleman and Troy Franklin, I think. Also, I just want to brag for a second. I was right about Troy Franklin falling. I didn't like him, and I was right. He fell to like the third round. So, just going to brag about that a little bit. I like bragging. Bragging's fun, talking about what I did right. What's better than a little brag, Bragalicious.
Yeah.
But
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Worthy was a great pick. I'm so happy we got him. He's going to be able to help create so many plays. And I've heard a lot of people say this guy could have done even better, but he got missed a ton at Texas. Mahomes doesn't miss dudes that often. Usually if Mahomes misses someone, they were in the wrong spot. He misses people, of course. He's human. Shockingly, he is human. Breaking news. Might doubt it, but Patrick Mahomes is indeed a human. But he doesn't miss you that often. So I expect Worthy to have I expect him to have a pretty solid year. I think what happens with Rice could change how good of a year he has, whether he has a great year or just a solid rookie year. But Worthy has such a high ceiling. Obviously, there is the concern with how small he is. He's like 160 or something. And he's like 165, which is a concern. That's a concern for beating press. But Andy Reid can scheme guys to where they don't get jammed on the line. When he gets that motion going like he did so many times with Hardman and Hill pre-snap, he can get it to where they don't get near as beat up on the line. And that's going to be so helpful. That's what I think helped make Xavier Worthy be a great player. It's going to involve Andy Reid scheming him properly to get off that line and be able to get open and make those great plays. Worthy, just such a good pick. and hoping we did what we did back in 2017 when we traded up with the Bills. Fingers crossed we got ourselves the next Patrick Mahomes type player. Probably not. Pretty low chances, considering they play different positions. And, one is a generational greatest quarterback to ever be on the planet Earth, potentially. But maybe. What if Xavier Worthy switches to quarterback and passes for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in his first season starting? You never know. Don't call me crazy. I could be right. He could. He could switch to quarterback. No. Probably not.
Guys, there's a chance.
There is a chance Xavier Worthy is the greatest quarterback in NFL history. You heard it here first, and that's why you watch this podcast, for breaking news and hot takes that we all know are definitely very real and are definitely totally going to come true. Xavier Worthy will be the greatest quarterback of all time. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. All right, moving on from that. Second round. There were some surprises. Once again, the good old Falcons. Rook Arororo. Over Johnny Newton, guy who fell out of the first round. I kind of would have loved to see us get. But the Falcons once again made a pick that a lot of people thought was higher than the guy should have been taken and wasn't the best at the position. And Rook Arororo. Funny name. I like the name. Good name. Maybe he might just be great, but just because of his funny name. That's how you scout prospects. I actually think the Falcons, they've got it down. They know how to scout guys. You got Penix, Arororo. They know how to scout guys. Get the guys with the good names, and you are bound for success. So, yeah. But then, I really, being honest, my dream scenario, when I saw how far Worthy was falling, I was going, what if he falls to us? Or what if we trade up for him and we can get him at, 50? Kitty, are you okay? Yeah, I think he's okay. He's just meowing. He just likes to meow.
Is he mewing?
No, he's not mewing. He's meowing. No, he just likes to meow.
Hey, I heard, and I heard that he's mewing.
We're not even going to go there right now. We're not even going there. We got much more important things to talk about than mewing.
I love how you say that like a curse word.
It is a curse word. Send it to hell for all I care. No. Moving on.
Whoa.
Moving on. I the board falling in the second round. I liked how it was going. I thought there were some pretty good prospects available that we could have got. And we ultimately got a pick that I absolutely love in Kingsley Suamataia. Yes, that's how you pronounce the name. Yes, I checked just before recording this, not watching this. Because I'm not watching this, I'm recording this. That's how podcasts go. Suamataia was a guy that a lot of people thought we would get at 32, and we got him at 63 with a little trade up over the Niners. Not over the Niners, with the Niners. But Suamataia, there's this one guy on NFL Twitter, Ricky. Shout out to that man. That man predicts everything. He's an insider with some source, and he somehow manages to get every prediction right. I don't know how. He predicted OBJ to the Dolphins, the move that just happened today. He predicted it a month ago, saying it was going to happen after the draft, and here we are. But he said that the Chiefs were going to take a tackle round one, and they were in love with Suamataia, which obviously they did very much like Suamataia, seeing as they got him at 63. Kitty. Seeing as they got him at 63, obviously they do love him as a player. They traded up to make sure they got him. Great pick. He's raw is the only thing. He is a raw prospect. He might not be a day one starter. I think he will be. Because you've got Andy Heck, who is a really, what the heck? He's a great O-line coach. Remember back when we had that draft a couple of years ago where we got multiple good O-linemen. We got our two great starters, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, that both started day one and were great. Andy Heck can develop guys. Trey Smith was a 6th rounder. But Sua Mateo was a great pick for a lot of reasons. You want to talk about those real quick while I get my cat situated?
Yeah. I think Sumu Matea is a pretty good pick. If we want Mahomes to be a quarterback for the next while with the Chiefs, we want to keep him healthy and keep him safe. And by adding better blockers is always just really important for the Chiefs.
Yeah. I'm back, by
So
the way.
that's great. And it will also help the run block a ton. And it will also help the other tackles because the Chiefs have needed support on offensive line.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, the interior line has been great. No, hats off to them, to Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith. They're dominant, but the tackles need some work. Juwan Taylor, guy who has potential, but that huge contract, has not worked out so far. And Wanya Morris, a guy I actually like. I actually am a Wanya Morris fan. I think he could be good if you let him develop. But he was not great in the snaps he got. Donovan Smith is currently a free agent. He could return. I don't think teams aren't just going crazy over, we could get 34-year-old left tackle Donovan Smith. Let's go. We got to get him now. There's not exactly a rush if we really wanted to bring him back. So yeah, like you said, I'm a big fan of Sua Matea. I'm a big fan of that pick. Also, I want to mention he has like 8 relatives in the NFL, including star tackle for the Lions, Penei Sewell, who just got a huge contract. I can't remember what it was, but he got a ton of money recently. So, I mean, hey, if you have like 8 relatives in the NFL, that's always going to be beneficial. Then, due to our trades, we didn't have a third round pick. I just want to mention, moving on, going on to the next pick. We did not have a third round pick due to trades, but we gained an extra 4th. And they were actually like back-to-back 4th round picks. We had like 131 and like 133. Not back-to-back, but really close together. And there were some good picks in between ours and that one. There were some guys I liked. The Niners, I will never forgive them for taking that running back out of Louisville, Guriendo. I don't remember how to pronounce his name fully, but I really liked him. I really wanted him. Don't insult me. I get draft crushes, and I really want them, like A.D. Mitchell, and when I don't get them, I am not happy. But he went to the Niners. That's actually a great fit for him. I think it's a really good fit for Guriendo. But we got 2 really good players in the 4th round. Starting off, Jared Wiley, a pick that, I'm going to be honest, they announced it, and I was confused. I was like, why are we a tight end? What? I was kind of confused by that pick. I wasn't expecting it, for being perfectly honest, for a second. But after I got some time to look at it, I think it's a pretty solid pick. I mean, he's probably not going to be a major contributor this year, but soon, as we were talking about before, 2 years, that could be it for Kelsey. Kelsey could be done after 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Noah Gray's contract's up this year or the next year. And Irv Smith Jr. signed a 1-year deal. He isn't exactly a star by any means. He is a guy who might make the team. But you look at their athletic profiles and some stuff about them, Jared Wiley and Travis Kelsey are incredibly similar. They have the same RAS score within 0.02 points or something, or 0.2 points. I can't completely remember, but they have really similar RAS scores. And they were both quarterbacks turned tight ends in college. There's some similarities between them. Wiley's a raw prospect, but he's got talent. He could be really good if you give him some time to learn from the greatest tight end ever. If you let him learn and grow for a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like you said, Kelsey is not going to be here forever, and I think it's good to have someone that is able to get. It's good to have a backup whenever you can. Like that's what the Falcons are doing with their quarterback situation, is getting someone that they're going to be able to use in the future.
Yeah. Of course, the main difference being we got ours at 131, and they got theirs at pick 8. Really, really capitalizing off that value, getting yourself a backup at pick 8. But no, I do get what you're saying, though. I mean, the Falcons, if they got Penix at, in the second round, maybe it wouldn't have been quite as bad a pick. But, moving on. We've talked enough about Michael Penix Jr. We can move on from him. Might as well make a podcast reporting from the Michael Penix Jr. while we're at it. But no, moving on. Wiley, yeah, like you said, it's good to have a guy who can replace Travis Kelce. I'm not saying he'll be the next Travis Kelce, but he could replace Kelce. He's got a lot of potential. Really athletic. He can take those passes long. He can use that yards after catch to get open and get big plays. I mean, he won't use yards after catch to get open, but he'll use yards after catch to get a lot of yards after he gets open, which is always useful in a Chiefs offense that really likes to use yards after catch. Something I've noticed. That offense really likes their yards after catch. So, yeah. Wiley, good pick in my opinion. I was confused by it originally, but after looking at it, I really do like the pick. And I think that he could end up being really good. And I mean, Noah Gray, the difference between Noah Gray and Jared Wiley is, one, Jared Wiley has a cool name. I mean, Noah Gray is not a bad name either, but Wiley's just a fun name. And two, Noah Gray, I'm sorry, but I don't know if he's ever going to be anything more than a backup tight end, which isn't bad for a 5th-round pick. That's not bad, getting a backup tight end for a 5th-round pick. That's not bad at all. But
yeah,
we're not looking for a backup tight end. We're looking for a successor to Travis Kelce, which I don't think Noah Gray is going to be, if he even stays on the team after this year. So, I really do think Wiley was a good pickup, getting him at 131. Maybe the Chiefs didn't think he'd fall that far. Maybe they did, I don't know. Speaking of guys the Chiefs didn't think would fall very far, we've got, with their next pick, 133, safety Hicks. Jaden Hicks, I'm pretty sure. Why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? I know it's Jay Hicks, but let me just look it up real quick. I don't know why I'm just blanking all of a sudden. Yeah, Jaden Hicks. Yeah, I don't know why I was blanking on that for some reason. But yeah, Jaden Hicks. Guy who, once again, probably won't play a ton this year, but he was widely considered a top, round one. Not round one, sorry, but, round 2.
I was going to say round 1.
Yeah, I was trying to say day 1, not round 1. We misspoke a little bit. We misspeak around here a little bit. But, a guy who was considered a day 1 pick, second or third round guy. Some people had him in their top 50. Some people had him as the best safety. And they got him at 133. I'm going to admit, once again, I hadn't looked into the safety class very much. I was kind of confused by this move. I wasn't sure why they did it. But then I looked into it, and I saw, man, this guy could be good. This guy's got a lot of potential. Me likey. Also, something I forgot to mention about Jared Wiley. My biggest concern with him is he's wearing number 12. Why? We don't need tight ends wearing number 12, please. Tight ends should wear numbers in the 80s. This is 1984. You don't have a choice. You don't have freedom of speech. Please wear numbers in the 80s.
Whoa. Ain't no way you just said that. No way you just said.
Don't wear numbers in the 80s. Please, do wear numbers in the 80s, please. No, I'm keeping that. That's good. No, I'm keeping that. That's a good take. What are you talking about, my man?
You don't have freedom of speech?
I'm keeping this whole section in. We're moving on. I'm keeping this in as we're talking. This is going in. All right, well, moving on after our great argument about lack of free speech I wasn't saying we don't have free speech. I was saying tight ends don't have free speech to wear a number I don't like. It's a little bit of humor if you've ever heard of that. I wasn't saying we don't have free speech. I was saying that tight ends. I was trying to say that tight ends aren't allowed to wear numbers that I don't want them to wear. Because I don't think they look good.
That makes sense.
This is a dictatorship here.
I'll allow it.
This is I won't allow Jared Wiley to wear number 12 because I think it looks bad. But I will move on. I'll have to live. All right, well, moving on. We talked about him enough. We could talk about him for days. We keep talking about him, but we've got a lot of draft picks to talk about. We've got like 3 or 4 more dudes to talk about, so let's get moving. Jaden Hicks, really like that pick because once again, another guy, Justin Reed, really like him as a guy. He seems like a cool dude. I met him back at training camp. I say met. I held out my football and he signed it. But he was my
Oh,
first...
you went to training camp?
Yeah, I've gone to training camp the past couple of years. I plan on going this year. And
Oh yeah, I'm also planning on going this year.
you sure?
I haven't gotten around to telling you. Yeah.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, my mom wants to go.
Oh damn, you actually are? That's
I don't know
actually
why.
crazy. What days?
Yeah. I have no clue. We haven't got tickets yet.
Okay, yeah, they don't sell tickets until pretty late, but
Yeah, we'll have to coordinate on that.
yeah, because I'm pretty limited. It'd probably be easier for you to coordinate with us. We'll have to talk about that a little bit after the podcast because I'm kind of busy with
Yeah, we will have to talk about
my
that after
schedule,
the
but busy.
podcast.
That's crazy. I didn't know you were doing that. That's crazy. That could really open the door for some content. Ooh, that's got
Yeah,
that's got me
exactly.
excited right there. If we can choreograph that. Moving on. Enough distractions. But yeah, I met Justin Reed at training camp. I say met once again. Yeah, he signed my football. But he was my first autograph at training camp, and that was pretty cool. So I've always kind of liked him. He seems like a solid dude. He played kicker for us in his first game after Butker got hurt, which is, once again, always fun. So he's always been a guy I kind of like, but this is the last year of his deal, I'm pretty sure. And if you're the best team in the NFL, as we saw with Snead, I don't know if you can afford to pay guys like a safety that much money. And Hicks is a guy that can play box safety. He can play that Justin Reed type role. And if he can play it well enough, he can be a really good, why am I going to say not replacement? He can be a really good Justin Reed replacement if we let Reed walk, which I don't know if we will, but if we were to let him walk, then I think Hicks would be a great replacement for him. And you pair him, Brian Cook, and Shamari Connor, and that's a really nice safety room right there. That's a really good safety room, in my opinion. And then, any other guys that you might want to add for the year once Justin Reed leaves. So I really like that Hayden pick. I don't know quite as much about him as a player, but it wasn't really a position of need, but it was a guy that the Chiefs were sitting there, and it's like, this guy's too good of a player to pass up. We can't pass up this guy. He might not be our biggest need, but he's a damn good player. Then picked again in the 5th round, where we got a solid pick. We got who I'm gonna probably call the Nick Allegretti replacement here. We got Hunter Norzad, center from I don't remember university. Everyone's favorite university. Good old I don't remember university. Norzad, he's like I said before.
He went to Penn State. He went to
Penn State. Yeah, I remember that now. Everyone's second favorite university after I forgot university. Norzad, yeah. Good player. Nick Allegretti replacement, as I said before, because he's played like everywhere on the line, I'm pretty sure. And that's what the Chiefs like so much about having Allegretti as a backup. He could play center, he could play guard. I don't know if Allegretti could play tackle, but I don't know if he was that good. But I think Norzad might have played a little bit of tackle before. But once again, O-line depth is a need for us on the interior. We could use small line depth. And we've got like all 3 of our starting interior linemen who are going to be all pretty expensive. Their contracts are all expiring like this year and the year after that. So there could be a need there because I don't know if you can sign all of them. Creed and Trey next year. I'd love to bring them both back. But sadly, I don't know if we will be able to. Just the world of the NFL. I mean, especially guards got paid a ton of money this year. Guards got so much money thrown at them this year, so that's never the best thing in the world for a team that has to pay multiple guards soon. But yeah, I think adding a good backup depth piece on the O-line is certainly a really good move. Also, there's one thing I want to complain about real second. Like, the one thing I didn't like about our draft is I would have liked to see us get 2 receivers. And because there's one guy, Malik Washington, who I really like. And he didn't go until like the 6th round of the Dolphins, which is a steal.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. I really wanted Malik Washington. I wanted him so badly. It was crazy. And I saw he was falling. I was like, ooh, we can get him right here. We can get him. and it just was yet to be. Also, sorry if you hear that water a couple times. I just a little nose
It's fine.
issue. I have a little bit of nose congestion, so I have to take some water. I have to take a little water break every couple minutes. It's like I'm out there on the field and it's 200 degrees outside. You got to get your water breaks in. We're basically playing football right now. We might as well be preparing for our season, for the Chiefs season this year. Getting out there ready to play. Well, we're basically on the team now with this podcast. We've basically been, on the team. So, we got to get our water breaks in. Hydration's the key to playing football right there, boys. Got to get your hydration in. But yeah,
That's Bob advice for you.
yeah, that's my advice of the day. That's my quote of the day. You got to get your water in. Remember, I'm gonna say that on my deathbed. Your grandchild's asking for advice. Got to get your water. Got to get your water in. Moving on. Nourzad, yeah, good pick. Good scheme fit. Might not play again. Might not play a whole ton, but I do certainly like that pick. Then in the 6th round, if I remember correctly, we got Tennessee corner Kamal Hadden. Once again, I'm going to admit, guy I didn't know Kamal Hadden. I didn't do as much research on 6th rounders as I would have liked to do. I'm not joking with that comment, by the way. I'm trying to get even better and better at researching the draft each year. But yeah, Hadden I think is a good pick because what I saw, he is a press man corner, which if you watched any L'Jarius Sneed tape, watched any of his tape, he played a ton of press man corner, and that's what made him so dominant. Not saying Kamal Hadden's the next L'Jarius Sneed. He might not even make the team for all we know with how deep of a cornerback room that this is. But Hadden is, he had like a really low, like 0.7 completion percentage when targeted or something. Quarterback rating, maybe, I can't completely remember. But I think Hadden's a pretty good pick at where we got him. Who, once again, a guy who could help develop and be a solid depth piece, and maybe more if he develops well. Dave Merritt's kind of known for being able to develop those DBs. He's done it with a lot of them. Watson, Williams, Sneed, Ward, Breeland, We've had a lot of good DBs. Rashad Fenton, I forgot about him. He wasn't great, but for a 6th rounder, he was pretty solid. Veach has been known to be able to develop his defensive backs. Or not, Veach doesn't develop them, he drafts them. But Veach has been known for drafting good DBs. He drafted like almost all the names I mentioned, other than Ward and maybe Breeland. I can't remember if we drafted him or not. I feel like we didn't, but I can't remember, so I'm not going to say for sure, because...
What was the name again?
Bashad Breeland. I can't remember if we drafted him or not.
We did not draft him.
No, I didn't think so. But Hadden, good pick. He's, once again, a pretty good scheme fit, I'm pretty sure. I think getting him in the 6th round, was a good pick. I think it was a pretty good pickup for us. For another depth piece at corner, potential could do more, which is another thing. Which is another thing that the Chiefs really like is guys that could do more. They really like those athletic guys that could do more. And I don't think he's the best athlete, but also he was injured. He didn't have the best RAS, but he was injured. He had like a shoulder injury, so that hurts your performance. Being hurt, as I'm sure we all know, being hurt. Quote of the day number 2: being hurt hurts your performance. There's more words of wisdom for you.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, I always keep it real. I always have the best wisdom. But yeah, good pick. I really liked our draft. I'm just going to spoiler alert for the end when I kind of grade our draft. I really liked it. Spoilers. Big fan. And then moving on to our last pick. Be honest, I didn't know this guy. Didn't do a whole lot of research on this guy. Pick like 220, 211, I can't remember. We got CJ Hansen out of Holy Cross, the guard. Gonna admit, don't do a whole lot of research on Holy Cross players. But, hey, I saw one guy on Twitter was bragging because he did a mock draft and had him in the mock draft, so props to Arrowhead Live for getting that right. Props to him for getting that right. If you're by the very small chance you're watching it, congratulations. Good job. I applaud you. But yeah, CJ Hansen, once again, I'm perfectly honest, I don't know a whole lot about him as a player, but guard depth, like I said, is a need So it's always going to be good to get more guards, get more defense. What am I talking about? More defense. I'm stupid sometimes. I consider myself a decently smart man, but sometimes I say things that just aren't smart.
Sometimes you're just a bit silly.
Yeah, defense for the quarterback. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. He's good defense for the quarterback. No errors there. We can just, cut that old little part out. Ignore my mistakes. I don't make mistakes. I need to put on a brand image. No mistakes allowed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but Hansen, guard depth is a need. It's good to get more defense for the quarterback, as what I was definitely very much totally trying to say. So, good pick. I mean, maybe not the best pick, but you're in the 7th round. You're basically taking priority UDFAs at this point. Isaiah Pacheco. We've taken some good guys in the 7th round. Isaiah Pacheco, Najee Johnson. Damn it. I was talking about good safety room, and I forgot to mention Najee Johnson. I like him as a player. Good depth. Another good safety, Najee Johnson. My man. Cool dude. I saw he was on a podcast with another smaller content creator. Not as small as me, but, another smaller content creator. So, that's always fun. Seems like a cool dude to me. But, yeah, that's the draft class for you. Really good draft class. What are your opinions on the class as a whole?
I like it. I think that, or our draft class or draft class in general?
No, our draft class. The Chiefs draft class as a whole.
I like it. I think that we made some pretty good picks. I wouldn't say it was the best draft. That one's probably Chicago. And I wouldn't say we had the worst draft, which is probably Atlanta. But I think it's towards the top. I'd give it probably an A. I mean, I just think that we did a nice job patching up things we need, got a good wide receiver and stuff like that, which is always good to see,
Yeah.
You always want to try and patch things up.
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job addressing needs. Like you said, I also would probably give this draft a good A or B plus, somewhere around that range. I'm pretty happy with how we got drafted. Or with how we got drafted. Yeah, that's some good English right there. I'm cooking right now. But yeah,
You really are.
Yeah, that was a good draft. I'd probably give it a good A, as I said before. I'm repeating my words now. I'm slowly but surely going insane as we speak. But yeah, so I like the guys we got. I think the only thing I didn't really like was, as I said before, I think we could have got 2 receivers. I would have liked to see us get 2 receivers. And we didn't get a defensive tackle. We've signed a couple of UDFAs as well. I mean, we've signed a lot of UDFAs. That's what everyone does. Maybe they'll make the team. But I think we've signed a couple of UDFA defensive tackles. I think it's Fabian Levette, a guy I've heard a couple of people talk about. Potentially a name to look at for training camp. Which I will be at, and I guess you'll be at there as well. Hopefully,
I'll be there.
Hopefully we'll be there at the same time. Maybe even at the same campsite. Who knows? We can do some stuff in person instead of over a call. That's always fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna act like we don't see each other pretty regularly, but I'm talking like
Yeah.
we live in separate countries or something. We see each other decently regularly, but it's
I live in Turkmenistan, actually.
really wow. You must travel really far
Really?
when we see each other. That's actually crazy. I didn't know that.
The more you know.
Yeah, but we had some good UDFA signings as well. Moving on from wherever you live. I'm not going to dox you right now, even though you just did it yourself. Corner Miles Battle.
Sure.
We signed some running backs. We signed a corner, Miles Battle, who I heard a couple good things about. I mean, it's this time of the year. The draft has ended. We're about a week out from the draft. So every team has got this next steal, the next great UDFA, who is going to be the greatest, most underrated pick of all time. Every team's GM got a steal and is a genius. So, I'm going to go with the norm, and we are a genius. Brett Veach made the greatest UDFA signing with the guy that I like, because I like him, and I mean, maybe I haven't heard of him before. Maybe I never even knew his name, but I've convinced myself that I like him. Therefore, he will be good. And if he doesn't make the team, I will make an angry Twitter thread, and I will voice my opinion. Because that's what you do. Because unlike tight ends picking numbers I don't like, we do have free speech. So if I don't like that we cut the guy that was probably never going to make the team, I get to go on a rant about it. That's just how things work. You can't stop me. I'd like to see you try. You can tell I've been going at this for too long. I think this is our longest episode so far, so that's pretty fun.
Probably.
I think we're reaching new milestones. If we can drag this out a little bit longer, we might hit the hour mark. I'm not sure. I think we need to drag.
How much longer do we
go? I think we need about 3 more minutes. So let's see if we can drag it out, get to the hour mark. That'd be fun. But of course, with a little bit of editing, it might go under. So let's not try to drag it out. We don't need the watch time. Oh, we do need the watch time desperately. No. Please, this is a call for help. If you're watching, please, we need the watch time desperately. We're not gonna be able to eat if we don't get enough watch time. Acting like we make money from this right now. But no.
Yeah.
Pretty good draft in my book. I'm excited. I think we got a lot of guys who can contribute this year or the next year, which is always what you're looking for. Last year's draft, I didn't love it quite as much. But yeah, good draft in my book. I'm pretty happy with it. You are too, as you've said before. Not going to hit an hour on this episode because if we drag this on, I think we will genuinely go insane. If we try to force ourselves to talk for 3 more minutes, I think we very well might go insane. You're already seeing my descent into insanity happen. But yeah. Hope y'all have enjoyed watching. Hope you've enjoyed me yap about random stuff. And him. He yapped as well, trust me. He yaps a lot. I hope you enjoyed us yap for 50 minutes over the draft and some other stuff like our new podcast, The Broncos Haters, coming February 29th, 2025. Make sure you're there. Mark it on your calendar. Hope you enjoyed. Feedback always appreciated. You like this content, drop a sub, drop a like, leave a comment, all the stuff that the YouTubers say.
All the good things,
Yeah, all the stuff that we say that I'm sure no one really ever bothers doing because we say it, but it might work. So, hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Peace.